Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, preview and review the ones that we can, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course stream for fun. Today we're going to be talking about AntStream Arcade, and this is something that I don't think has really been mainstream yet, hasn't been talked about very much. I know Mr. Matty Plays talked about it on his channel, but I really haven't seen it anywhere else. Now this isn't going to pertain to everybody, because not everyone's interested in this, but think of AntStream Arcade as a lot of old 1980s, 90s, and even a few 2000 games that are all shoved into one service called AntStream Arcade. And it's basically like the Netflix of retro gaming. So if you grew up with arcade games, if you grew up even with gaming before there were consoles, this is going to pertain to you. So a lot of the old school stuff, side scrollers, 2.5D, top down type of stuff, all sorts of things. And so of course this doesn't have everything, but let's go through what they have here. So currently there's 1,470 games that are licensed. These are licensed games all the way back from like the Atari 2600, Atari 5200, Commodore 64, Game Boy, the Genesis, the NES, the Super Nintendo, the PlayStation 1, and the Spectrum. And there's several others too. Oh yeah, and the Amiga. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. And there's also 300 arcade games available on the service. So there's a bunch of different games, and there's some classics in here like Contra and Metal Gear Slug and oh man, I don't think there was Paperboy, but like Star Voyager was another one. Tons of games. I recognize some of the pictures, but I can't remember all of the names. But like I grew up with some of these. You know, I had a blast playing some of these games on like the NES. And it's just cool to see this, because a lot of these games aren't even available for us anymore. And we've even had a few channels like Young Yeah chatting about, and the Angry Joe Show chatting about how 86 or 87% of games are at risk of disappearing forever because they're not backed up by a service. They're not really touted or stored by anybody. And, you know, once those physical games get destroyed or they all die off, well, then we don't have those games anymore. And the games that are left, some of them are extremely, extremely valuable because of their condition. And we don't want to play those games anyway because they're collector's items. And even including some of these arcade games. I mean, these are like thousands of dollars now. These big, massive boxes with some buttons on them. It's pretty crazy. And so, let's see. So this was a project that was worked or done with Microsoft. And since then, this was done through the Startups Founders Hub and the Azure Cloud Service. And so that disallowed Xbox players to be able to be reached. AntStream Arcade already had their service. They already had it up and running. This is a British company, and they've been doing this for a few years. But yeah, with Xbox, they're able to bring it to Xbox players, which is great. There's tens of millions of us. Of course, AntStream Arcade would want to jump on this and be able to affect more in their audience. I do believe, too, that they're also eventually probably going to work over to PlayStation and Nintendo, if they'll allow that. But again, these are all old school retro games. And currently this is a time exclusive just with Xbox. It is planning to eventually come to the PS5 in the future, though we don't know exactly when. Maybe a year or a couple of years from now, something like that. So let's see, what about the service? There are couch co-op games, so you simply add a second controller and you're able to play an additional character in the game. They also give challenges for players, and they also host weekly global tournaments around the world for these various games. The price is $30 per year or $80 for a lifetime. So basically, if you play 3 years, you should have just bought the live service, right? Because, yeah, the 30 equals 90 after 3 years. Games will be continued to be added. And if you want to look at the entire full list so far that they have, go to Pure Xbox, and they have an easy-to-read list of all of their games and what consoles they're on. And so far, there's only a few consoles that only have a few games. Like the PlayStation 1 only has 2 games right now. one of them being loaded, but they are working with the licensing to bring more games from more consoles or already existing consoles that they have. And they honestly want to keep adding on to the service until, there's no more games to add. They also do not plan to take anything off. They just want to add to the service and actually increase its value, which I have to say is kind of nice. Again, not every game everybody would play, right? Just like Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. But it's nice that they're not actually taking anything away, and it's just a bigger and bigger and bigger library. And even you can see that they've been adding games at a pretty quick rate, because there's some news stories that are like, oh, they have 1,100 games, and there's others where they have 1,200, or they hit 1,300 now, or 14, and now they're almost already at 1,500 games. So they're constantly adding to this platform, and they have been doing so for a while. So anyway, I just wanted to make you guys aware of that. Again, this isn't going to pertain to everybody, but I know I got some older folks like me, and even older than me in my audience. And so if this interests you, go ahead and take out AntStream Arcade on Xbox. You can find it right now and take a look at it yourself. There's also a few videos on YouTube, like at Mr. Matty Plays. And then this will eventually be coming to PlayStation 5. They're going to be working on that fairly soon once their exclusive runs out on Xbox. So I hope you guys are doing well. You can always find me at Twitch at Don't Tread on Thee. And you can always find me too also at YouTube, where I archive everything off of Twitch at Gaming Garbage 22. So hopefully you guys are having a good one. I'll see you next time.